Let's get ready to rumble! What a performance that was!
Wonderful viewers out there, it's time for Sportsville. My name is George Adlo. We're set to roll again, and I'm here with my colleague as usual. Tony Wokoma Bani is here, and baby of the house, Oluchi Tobes Tobechuku, is equally here. We'll take a look at Team Nigeria and the performance at the All-Africa Games that ended yesterday in Rabat, Morocco. Nigeria finishing second. So somebody told me off camera that is our usual position, second behind Egypt. How did Team Nigeria fare at the games? We'll take a look at that, and we'll start the show by saying kudos to the Tigers as they take on the world at the FIBA World Cup out there in China. They started yesterday with the game against Russia. We wish them the very best of luck, and then we'll take a look equally at football. Don't forget the draw of the Champions League was made just Thursday in Monaco, and interesting draws were there. For the first time, Ajax will be visiting Stamford Bridge, where they will be taking on Chelsea. All that on the show for you. Is a loaded package, I must tell you, but as usual, let's take this break. When we come back and introduce my guests. Don't go away. It is Sportsville.
Hi guys, I'm Ray Parler from Arsenal and England. Please watch Sportsville.
All right, welcome back. If you've just joined us, you've not really missed much. We are firing now on all cylinders, and let me start by introducing my guests. Let me start with baby of the house, Oluchi Tobes Tobechuku. Oluchi, welcome to Sportsville.
Thank you so much, George. It's a pleasure to be here. Let me just distract us a little bit. How do you cope with this, your friend Tony? I'm sure he had one thing in mind when he was leaving home today, just to distract me, but he has failed. He needs deliverance. During the week,
Tony went to church this morning. Even without introducing him, he went to church this morning, and he's a believer.
No, from next week we'll start another one.
Okay.
During the week, when we were discussing, you kept on hammering the fact that the Nigerian team, they were in Morocco for a jamboree, and I told you, be patient. During the week, we've not done wrestling. We'll see what comes up from there. And truly, they didn't fail me, but although I know you are disappointed that we are not topping, but there is no way we're going to top that log table when we have swimming that we couldn't even embrace, or gymnastics, shooting, volleyball, a lot of sports that we did not even nick a single medal. I think we need to concentrate on all those sports that will help us when we go for such competitions.
Okay, you talk about wrestling, but we couldn't wrestle the first position. That is the only reason that if we had wrestled the first position from Egypt, then we'll be poppy champion here. On that note, let me welcome Tony Brandi to the show.
Thank you so much, George, and welcome our distinguished viewers. And indeed, it's a very great thing to be here, seeing that Nigeria, of course, maintained its usual position. And for Oluchi, I do not have words for her, because she's finding trouble in the land of trouble.
She did drug catapult.
Being a Sunday, going to church and then receiving communion, that has already made me. It's a very holy day, and indeed, I say very congratulations to Nigeria. But we'll come down to break it, whether indeed we need to congratulate Team Nigeria for always coming second and second and second.
Okay, that's how to start the show. But before we go to Team Nigeria and our performance out there in Rabat, Morocco, let's start as usual with top news. Let's take you to start with rugby. The captain of the Cowrie Rugby Football Club, Ono Jato, says more efforts need to be put in place to make Nigeria Rugby Football Federation League more attractive with the inclusion of more teams. Jato wants more teams to be part of Nigerian rugby so that at the end of the day, it will rub off positively on the Stallions, that is our national team. Jato believes that improving the league will help the Stallions perform better ahead of the Olympic qualifiers. He spoke exclusively to Sportsville. Let's hear Ono Jato speak on the way forward for Nigerian rugby.
Well, it's been a different season. I mean, we lost a couple of teams this season, so we've had less games. But it'll be nice. It'll be nice to get more teams more people to play against, more opponents, and the more people that play the game, the better the skill set, the more people we have playing, the better it is for even the national team side. So we're doing our best to see what we can to get more people involved, more teams involved, and hopefully we'll be able to accomplish that. And next season, maybe even have a bigger league.
All right, away from rugby now, let's talk about table tennis and talk about one man, very humble. Like Tony's former landlord in Oshodi will say that his humility is just too much. Talk about a man that is very, very humble indeed. I must tell you that is no other person but John Peters. Peters has for over 4 decades served African table tennis, and he was honored out there in Rabat, Morocco by the African Table Tennis Federation. Talk about Khaled El Saleh. They honored him because this is a man that has done so well for not just Nigerian table tennis. He is a wonderful umpire, but he is very, very humble. And Tony is a member of the table tennis family. Tony, John Peters.
Yeah, Judge JP, we call him in table tennis circles, very humble man, like you rightly said, and very, very knowledgeable once it comes to table tennis. Ronti Olajide, if you remember Ronti Olajide,
Ronti,
another
our senior colleague,
another man who is also very, very dutiful once it comes to table tennis. Nigeria has produced men and women, as umpires, just as Nigeria is fighting Egypt, on the green table. So also our administrators, Egypt sees Nigerian umpires as, perennial rivals, and that's exactly. And one man that has distinguished himself, once it comes to umpiring in table tennis in Africa, is JP. That's John Peters. The man is efficient. The man knows the rule of the game. The man knows everything. And as an umpire, George, it even takes him into coaching.
Okay, the man has been recognized, and Tony won his own laurel too in table tennis because at Anedo Hall he got doctor, who is today the wife. So they are all beneficiaries of table tennis.
And JP was there. He also officiated it.
Okay, all right. Away from table tennis now, let's take you to Scrabble and tell you that organizers of the 2019 Mind Game Table Tennis, I'm still talking table tennis. Organizers of the Mind Game Scrabble Premier League have revealed plans to honor deserving teams, just the way JP was honored out there in Rabat. Those who are organizing the Mind Game Scrabble Premier League are equally planning to honor those who have served this country, where that will be from September 14 to 15, and that will be taking place at Delegate Hotel in Lekki. 12 teams comprising of top players that include newly crowned national champion Wellington Jigere will be there, and it will be a colorful one out there here in Lagos. All which is Scrabble people.
Yeah, I must tell you, Scrabble, the federation has been tremendous in making sure, that the players are motivated, they are recognized.
With little or no support.
With little or no support, like you said. We saw the fights they fought, for the game to be recognized, even for the sports festival. And you can see, just like in women's football, if you have an improved league, it's going to rub off on the national team. It's going to rub off on the people representing, the country, and also make stakeholders and every other person, to actually notice the sports. And I think that is what is happening now.
Okay, those in the Scrabble family, I say kudos to you because you guys are doing very well. Lukman Owolabi and Co, the initiator of MSPL. Kudos to you guys. Keep on the struggle. At the end of the day, Scrabble will come to be recognized because we know the honor you are bringing to this country. Away from Scrabble now, I'm talking about doing well. One man that has advised the new sports minister is the primate of Unri Evangelical Spiritual Church. Talk about primate. Elijah Ayodele came out with his Warning to All Nations book, and that book contains part of sports too. And he said if the new minister must succeed, talk about Sunday Dare, that he must beware of detractors, that there are people who would want to deceive the minister into taking wrong decisions. And the primate himself spoke exclusively to Sportsville. Let's hear him speak.
The new minister, will get certain things confused. So I'm not saying, I'm not against him, but he needs to work extra careful so that they will not mislead him, they will not put him into troubles. But if he can follow the right steps, he will perform that in his process.
Okay, that was Primate Ayodele there, Elijah Ayodele speaking to us exclusively, warning the new Minister of Sports that he must beware of detractors. That's top news, but before we go, we must equally say it was fun at Deloitte Soccer Tournament. There is a law firm, they had a 1 week of fun in Lekki, and they brought S Internationals, Waide Akoni, Wasi Ekpaye, talk about Friday Ikpo. They were all there, and Yisa Shofolu, the Dean of Defense, to be part of that Deloitte Soccer Tournament. What a way of a law firm making sure that their staffers are fit to do their job very well. And our own man, Waide Akoni, was part of that show, and he commended them for making sports part of their activities. That's top news. Let's take a break now. When we come back, actually, let's take a break with getting personal. This time not with a footballer, but getting personal with somebody who has done very well for Nigerian sports. Talk about the president of Badminton Federation of Nigeria, Francis Obi. We got personal with him. It is another Sportsville exclusive. Enjoy it. When we come back, we'll continue with the show.
I never played at professional level. I started playing badminton when I was already old. I mean, as a veteran, I joined the Koi Club, and I just love the game. I'm passionate about the game. If you want to succeed in life, you must be ready to make sacrifices. For me personally, my principle in life is for you to succeed in any endeavor, discipline is the foundation. And more so in sports, you can't do well in sports if you are not disciplined. So that was the first thing we tried to do to instill in our players. My favorite, I'll tell you, is beans and plantain. Well, music, I am a bit deep into music, so I'm not restricted. That my genre of music cuts across. I mean, if we go to high life, I can take you on a journey, and you'll be shocked at how far we go. If you go to contemporary, if you go to jazz, Afrobeat, I mean, I have all fellas' works. Every work, Sonny Ade, Ebenezer Obey. Then if you come to, Zilonia, Celestine Uku, Victor Olaya, Victor Waifo. I mean, just name any high life great. I go into their work. So, country music, I'm there. So, but for Nigerian music, really, I will tell you that the most philosophical of all Nigerian artists, for me, is Fela. Badminton will be competing with the likes of basketball, tennis. I will not say football, because that will be a very tall order. It will take much longer of consistent, planning and execution. But I can tell you that we're going to compete with basketball, we're going to compete with tennis. We're almost there already.
All right, welcome back. I hope you are still enjoying Sportsville, and I hope you enjoyed that getting personal with Francis Obi, a very nice gentleman. I must tell you, his sports equally did well for Nigeria out there in Rabat, Morocco. Maybe that was why he enjoyed a lot of dodo. On that note, let's talk about Team Nigeria now and our second position finish, perennial second position finish as Tony. Would you say it was a step upward, or how do you put it? Nigeria unable to stay upstage Egypt on the final medals table.
First, I think we must, congratulate Team Nigeria, because when they started, there were too much, fears. People like you could not even stand it, but we do know that every country has its own, strong points, has its own, sports, where it will definitely, do well. And I think Nigeria did, and of course rose up very, very well, magnificently. They just got into the medals table towards the tail end. They showed a lot of vim and vitality, and of course the resilience that Nigerians are known for. But importantly is the fact, that the known strong areas of Nigeria, we showed power in all those things. Talk about wrestling, talk about weightlifting, talk about athletics, and and you see, you just saw that Nigeria did absolutely well. And surprisingly too, George, is the fact that there are some other sports, that Nigeria, if you look at Kenu, for instance,
Canoeing.
Canoeing that just saw, for instance, and we also talked about gymnastics. Gymnastics has been a place that we've not really been doing well, but then now we are beginning to break the ice, which shows just that there are so many places, so many things for Team Nigeria to do. There are still many virgin sports that we have to enter into. Swimming, for instance, if Nigeria can come out and look at swimming, that is a point for the minister now. If he has attended his first African Games, he's coming back joyful that Nigeria has done so well. But to me, perennial coming second is not doing well, because in 1973 we came first. In 2003 we came first. So that shows that Nigeria can as well come first in almost every other thing. From all the sports that we have seen, just from athletics, we've seen that athletics is a very strong point for Nigeria. And we have seen badminton now, basketball, for instance. Basketball, Nigeria is beginning to rule basketball in Africa. So it's a very strong point for us. And then we move into boxing. Boxing, which used to be the major sport of Nigeria, has begun to go down. Today we are talking about boxing getting only 115. That to me is a very poor result. And then we look into all this, George, break it down, look at taekwondo and tennis. But George, if you see some other sports, the sports that didn't do well, shooting, swimming, rowing, judo, and all, we have very strong area, George, that we can contest. But indeed,
all right,
is the fact that Nigeria finished second. To me, that's somehow motion without movement, George.
Okay, Tony can go on and on. He was the former image maker of Nigeria Olympic Committee, and Africa Games belong to the NOC. Actually, my producer have shown you the areas where we won medal. You can see them there. Athletics gave us 10 gold medals, but the biggest medal haul came from weightlifting, 16 gold medals it gave us, and then athletics 10 gold medals, and then wrestling 5 gold medals. And some other sports did not fetch us any medal. Talk about chess, talk about beach volleyball, handball, and all that. You can see all the statistics there. Oluchi was celebrating Team Nigeria. We came second behind Egypt. So how does that translate to beautiful performance?
Yes, I keep on saying it. When you look at it, based on the preparations, the athletes, they had little or no preparations before they left. Yes. You saw, we were talking about Blessing Okagbare the other day, how she was lamenting, yes, and all those things. A lot of them were demotivated, but at the end of the day, we still have this Nigerian spirit. When we get down there, we'll do what we ought to do. I am disappointed, like a sport like shooting didn't even record any medal, because I knew.
You are a member of the shooting family.
Yes, from the Lagos State.
And I know you guys can do better.
Yes, when you talk about equipment, especially from the FCT angle, I know that we had such, and a lot of preparations have been put into this. But I know that, like Tony had said, some of these sports, like judo, for example, this is a sport that did not even have the opportunity to participate in any competition for over a year before these African Games. When we close down these loopholes, Nigeria will be able to do better. Let's pay much attention to individual sports. Thankfully for us, our football team, we got a gold medal from the Falconets, and shamefully, Paul Aigogun with his team, they've had the opportunity to be together right from
Poland.
Before Poland, they played the African Games, and then Poland, at the end of the day, Burkina Faso defeated us by 2 goals to nothing. So swimming, like you said, would need athletes with the right height. I was reading and I was told that the best female swimmer that we had is about 5 feet 2 inches, which isn't good enough. So when we look into this, we have a high performance center in Port Harcourt. We have experts that can make us do well in these individual sports. Much attention is given to them. What did we do right in Abuja that we could win Koja that we can't do right when we go outside Nigeria?
What we did right, we can always ask Jujuma and Brian Ebewele. And before we left the shores of this country for Rabat, Brian Ebewele made it clear that there is no way we can beat Egypt. And I stand with Brian Ebewele, because for me, we have never gotten our priorities right. I am a football person, no doubt about that. Tony is a football person. Oluchi is a football person. But I ask, why would you take 22 players to the All Africa Games women, 22 male footballers, 44 people, and at the end of the day, they give you 1 gold medal and 1 silver. I asked that question. The money we invested in our footballers, if we invest it in 1 swimmer, Tony, I'm sure those swimmers would have given us medals.
We are saying we should lay more emphasis on individual sports. That is not saying we should disregard.
But Tony, I don't see any reason why we should take basketball, why we should take football, why we should take volleyball to the All Africa Games. Tony.
No, but George, in as much as I agree that football has always taken the prime position, that does not mean that football should be relegated. It's a team sport, and it's not only Nigeria that participates in the team sport. But George, I think the question, Oluchi just brushed it. The question is, let's talk about the coach of the Flying Eagles. Yes, I don't know what he's doing there, and I don't know people who are behind him. Because as it is now, if you see a bird dancing in the street, then you know that somebody is drumming in the bush for him.
Yes.
Because Paul Aigbogu has shown that he's not capable to take Nigeria anywhere. And he remains one coach that anytime he fails, they give him an opportunity to repeat the class, and he continue to fail. I think this is the hallmark of it. The All African Games, that will not do anything. Just before I round up, let me just say that there is one medal, the best of all the medals, that we've not talked about. And that best of all the medals is that all the medals that Nigeria won are not tainted in drugs.
Yeah.
That's a kudos. That's a very big plus that Nigeria is going to.
So they don't celebrate that yet because the dope test results are not out yet. Don't tell us that they are not tainted in drugs. The drugs results will be out later in another 2 or 3 months. But I agree with you. No, we agree that at the end of the day they are not tainted with drugs, but we still need to put our fingers crossed on that. Should be told. I come to look at it. Egypt did not win any medal in volleyball. They did not win any in basketball. They did not win any medal in football. But at the end of the day, Egypt has 99 gold medals, and they are topping the medals table.
You can't compare. You look at the gap, because we're talking about individual sports.
Exactly.
Swimming.
These are people that have gotten their priorities
that
right.
Can give you like 20, 30 medals. And so
that is what they lay their emphasis on. Nigeria will take hockey to All Africa Games, will take basketball to All Africa Games, will take all the team sports, carry 100 and something man contingent, and at the end of the day we'll still finish second.
Yeah, George, absolutely, I agree with you. But I'm telling you that team sports, is part of the games. The judge will begin to ask, Egypt, you mentioned about all these things that Egypt takes part in almost all these things. Exactly. Judge, the right word is getting your priorities right.
Right.
Judge, we must, and I think this is the call, the wake-up call to the new minister, Sunday. Today is Sunday, and I know that the man will be, full of joy. That Nigeria has welcomed him and Nigeria has shown this. And I think that before the man goes, if they allow him to, that the man should take Nigerian sports to the pinnacle. And that the pinnacle is about planning. That is exactly what Egypt has shown us. Exactly. That is exactly what South Africa are not happy. Just I must tell you that South Africans are sulking because they have relinquished the number 2 position. And they are not happy. They are going back to the drawing board.
Yes.
That board that we're always talking about. George, I think this is the right time for Nigeria now to go and begin to ask questions about gymnastics, about swimming, for instance. They say that no black man, black men are not good in swimming.
And about shooting.
About shooting. George, we have the capabilities, we have the athletes, we
now
have
everything. Are talking, Tony.
George, if the minister can bring out, some funds, to put into these federations,
we'll definitely overtake Egypt.
The federation presidents have shown their desire and love and passion for this game, and that is why we are reaping. Take somebody, for instance, Daniel Egali. That is one man that Nigerians should hail and, of course, give national honor. That young man did not win gold at the Olympics for Nigeria, but he remains a Nigerian. That gold goes to Canada. But what that guy has done to Nigeria has reaped more gold than what he gave to Canada. And we should celebrate such people here, not only people who are the Senate or at the House of Reps.
Okay, Dari, if you are nominating people for national award this year, you know those to nominate. Somebody like Daniel Igali has done very well for Nigeria. He deserves national award. Another man that we are continuing to clamor for national award for is Enyimba chairman Felix Anyansiago. The only club in Nigeria that has won the CAF Champions League back-to-back under his belt. He deserves it richly. So we should give honors to those who honor are due to. Well, we've taken a look at Team Nigeria at the Africa Games. Let's take a break now. When we come back, we'll be coasting home, and I hope you're enjoying the show. All right, welcome back. We are coasting home now. Let's quickly give you the upcoming events before we round up the show. Let's tell you that from September 2 to 5, we'll be talking about Warri Talent Hunt out there in Delta State. And then September 6, I talk about the IAF Diamond League that will be taking place in Belgium. September 7 to 12, the IBA World Boxing Championship will be coming up in Russia. And then September 9 to October 2, the Chess World Cup. And then September 3, 2020 Olympic qualifiers. Nigeria will be taking on Algeria here at the Soccer Temple in Agege. Nigeria will be going into that game with a 2-0 first leg lead. That's the show, but before we go, we must equally talk about the Champions League. Very fabulous draw we saw out there in Monaco, and the group of death, no doubt, is that group here. You have Barcelona, Inter, and Borussia Dortmund, and Slava Prague. In fact, Slava Prague officials were just laughing when we were thrown into that same group. Tony, will Slava Prague throw up any team? You can see all the parents there.
Just, sometimes
if they can't cry, they laugh.
When you go into such draws and then you have the misfortune of having giants like this, you begin to mourn your team even before they play. But I think it's a very big thing, and just like you mentioned it, I see Barcelona, just coming up. They have the might, they have everything there.
Okay.
Barcelona would definitely come out tops.
Then Inter and Borussia Dortmund.
Borussia Dortmund, I think that Inter will have the edge.
Okay, interesting fixtures in the UEFA Champions League, and then defending champions Liverpool will up against Napoli again. And then when that draw was made, one question the judging club asked is Napoli again? Liverpool lost in Napoli last season by 1-0, but in the reverse fixture they won by 1-0. So interesting show there in the UEFA Champions League. The games will be starting later this month in September. That's the show. Oluchi, thank you for coming to Sportsville.
It is indeed an interesting show. My pleasure to be here.
And I will be at the Soccer Temple on Tuesday.
Of course, the Super Falcons, they need to complete the work they've started in Algeria, not forgetting that they've missed the last 2 editions of the Olympics, so they need to qualify for this one, appease Nigerians.
Okay, and Tony, thank you for coming to Sportsville.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to Team Nigeria for doing, showing that they can excel if the authorities give them the might.
Okay, congratulations to Team Nigeria coming as usual second position, but I think we can get it right and get it better by beating Egypt if we put our priorities right. That's the show. We'll see you next week. Bye bye and God bless.